Well, guys, it's certainly been a while, hasn't it? Now, if you haven't noticed the latest video I uploaded, which was yesterday or like the 26th or somewhere around there, I don't know exactly when I'm uploading this video. I know I'm in the process of uploading this or editing this the day after I uploaded the last one. And there's a lot of things for me to say. I said that in that video, at the very end, I would discuss where I've been. Now, a part of it is also kind of like a channel trailer to like a channel trailer 2.0 because it's been long overdue. So as you can see here, what I'm playing is not Apex. In the background, it's actually Battlefield 5. Now, I don't like this game terribly much. It's okay as a game, especially compared to Battlefield 1, Battlefield 3, and Battlefield 4. My three favorite installments of the series, and hopefully Battlefield 2042 can take one of those places. I'm pretty happy for that game. I'll probably upload beta gameplay when that comes out. But I have Battlefield 5, Call of Duty Vanguard, which I was not impressed with at all. The game's just not ready. Many lighting bugs, pixelated screens, loading texture issues, game crashing, lag, stuttering, 70 FOV, gun balancing. The list goes on and on and on. But, you know, it's the same thing that Call of Duty is every year. So I have some of that nonetheless, though. You might see some of the issues. Maybe not. But now you may be wondering, Brian, this isn't Apex. Yes, I will get to that. I'm going to establish really early in this video that I will still be doing Apex content. I just want to broaden my horizons a little bit. Like I said, I'll get into that here. I'm going off script that I have written here. So, yeah, I've been gone for roughly 2 months, somewhere in between 2 to 3 months, and I could give many excuses. I don't really have any proper things to say to like legitimize why I've been gone for so long. I guess I could say something along these lines, like, I don't know, number one, I graduated from high school and am now attempting to work towards being an architect. But I can't really use that as an excuse considering that right now I'm in a catch-22, and that catch-22 would be that, oh, well, in order to go to college, you need to be able to drive to your college, right? You need to be able to drive to your dorm or apartment or whatever. You need to be able to transport to where that college is. And in order to get a transportation to make a car or a truck or whatever, I need a job. And in order to get a job, I need to be able to get a vehicle to drive to a job. So that's the catch-22 I'm in. I'm sure I'm not the only one that it's like that. So that's number one. Number two, I got a lot of things edited up on my PlayStation. I have like 90 gigabytes of edited footage just sitting on my PlayStation that I haven't been using. A lot of Apex stuff that I was planning on using on lore stuff. But I decided not to do the lore stuff that I had already planned because, in my opinion, it was redundant to videos I already made. A lot of the stuff I was making was had to deal with Mirage or inklings of it and stuff like that. It's just either there wasn't enough lore to go off of, which ties into the lore Drought Apex is in currently. I'll get into that later. And I ran into an issue where I don't want to be redundant on my videos with lore. I don't want to upload the same type of video 3 or 4 times. Like, I'm not going to keep uploading, like, say, Mirage and Wraith video. I'm not going to do that 4 or 5 times because it's the same thing over and over and over, just with new additions to it. And to me, I don't know if that is good because to me, it doesn't feel like I'm hoarding for views, but some people might see that way, and I just don't want to get onto that train where I'm just uploading the same video over and over and over and over and over. It doesn't look good from other people's views, and it doesn't look good from my view. So I ended up scrapping a lot of that. So yeah, a lot of footage I either edit or actually produce and finish didn't make the final cut in the 2 to 3 months that I've been editing stuff. I also have personal matters in life that affect my mental health, but not enough to like where I should be on uploading, you know, or anything like unhealthy. It's still on me for not uploading. And the final thing is the Apex Lore job. Now, once again, I could say these things. I could say these are why. But it doesn't change the fact that I was gone for 2 to 3 months without saying anything, pretty much. Even then, I was gone for a month before then and did an Apex Overtime comic, and in between there was a decent amount of lore I didn't cover in time just because I didn't get to it and, well, I waited too long. So, anyways, the lore drought is what mostly I want to talk about and how it associates with my channel today. So the last excuse, the Apex lore drought, which has made content fairly difficult for me, rings most true right now. Although it isn't a solid validation to my absence, nonetheless, I still want to talk about the Apex lore drought, especially since it's close to being over, and I'll get to that in a second, and about how we were told by Ashley, one of the Apex writers, one of the main writers, that the second half of the season would be jam-packed. So, for any of those that watch any of my most recent videos, with the exception of the very last one I uploaded, any of my most recent lore videos, you know that my video or my channel is centered around Apex lore or Apex in general. You also probably know that Apex currently in Season 10, for the entirety of Season 10 so far, with the exception of a few things, has been pretty lackluster in lore. Um, and shortly after the large push of collaborations and projects in Season 9, some of Respawn has, they've kind of been like, let's make an announcement. All right, let's talk about this. It wasn't anything direct, but it was important to note that both Tom Cassiello and I believe Ashley, I could be wrong about Ashley, but Tom did for sure, had announced that working on Season 9's lore was nothing short of a miracle. Because there was tons of stuff. I'll get into that. Both of them, if I remember correctly, I know Tom did. I'm not sure about Ashley. Mentioned how hard the Respawn team, and not just the Respawn team, but and the community worked on bringing Season 9 to life. In terms of lore, there was much, much, much more vast things of lore that happened in Season 9 than we've ever had before. And I personally know some of the community that worked on this projects. I mean, Frozen Fro used to be a person in an art Discord I was in. He's still in it, but now he's a developer, right? He's organizing lore and whatnot, and he does a pretty good job at that stuff. But he's probably been hard at work. And then I know the artist that did some of the artists. I shouldn't say all of them. I know a decent amount of the artists that did the community comics on Twitter for Apex, the official Apex Twitter comics. And yeah, I definitely noticed the time crunch that they were on. I mean, obviously they weren't like slaved or anything like that. But as me as a person, I noticed how much less I was able to communicate with them and how much more busy they were. And it was because of those comics. They were working pretty hard to get those across the table. And that doesn't go for just them. It goes for the writers and everyone at Respawn. They worked really, really hard to bring Season 9 to life as much as I liked it. So I personally noticed that at how hard they worked. And things like these are super time consuming and rare. So it was no surprise when Respawn's developers announced that lore would not be as potent in Season 10 as it was in Season 9 or any other season. So what happened in Season 9 was a one-off thing, most likely. Because Tom was going away, it was like Tom, from Respawn, he's no longer writing for Apex. It was like his parting gift, right? Him and the Respawn team, they worked together with the community, and they created this vast season of just tremendous lore. The thing is they can't do that every season because it's way too straining, and it takes a lot of voluntary work that it's not really fair to ask people of, I guess, in their defense. So, like I said, it's no surprise to me that they announced that the potency in the lore would not be as strong as it was in Season 9. When they announced this, or some of the writers announced this, I kind of took a hint that meant that Season 10 was going to be a little lackluster in terms of lore. Now, let's fast forward to Season 10, right? Outside of the launch trailer, some loading screens, some interactions, we didn't really get much in lore in Season 10 so far. And we're halfway through the season. Most of the voice lines were conclusive to events that took place in Season 9, Lifeline and Octane primarily. They're like conclusions to what took place. I could go over like all the lore that went over, but that's kind of a deserving video in itself because I want to tie that all into what's called the family theme and kind of go into that. So I'll have another video which will actually be a full-on Apex lore video with Apex footage in the background here, instead of two World War II games being compared beside each other. Try to see the similarities to each game, and the differences and what's better and what's not. So I'll have a lore video explaining characters, talking about what happened in Season 9 and potential roles in Season 10, and like the overall theme possibly, as well as major characters and what they plan, and blah, 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 blah. I'll get to that at some point in an Apex lore video here upcoming soon based on family. I promise I'm going to approach both broad and specific topics. I have the clips, and after you see this video, I'm going to start editing and scripting and whatnot. Okay? Okay, good. Sorry, I had to stop my audio for a second because I am getting off track. I created a 5-page script for this video, and I've been ranting a lot longer about things that I shouldn't be ranting about, I guess. So, I'm going to go ahead and conclude the whole video thing. I will have a video where I talk about Octane, Lifeline, Mirage, Loba, Wraith, Bangalore, Valkyrie, Revenant, Crypto, Watson, Caustic, etc. Bloodhound, Fuse, right? They're all going to be kind of connected in some way, and it'll be Rampart, which is a major connection to all of them. But once again, that'll be a different video, okay? Anyhow, this lack of lore has not only created an issue for the channel, but an issue with me. So, obviously, since I'm centered around lore, lack of lore creates lack of content. By the way, hope you don't mind the Genshin footage here. I ran out of Vanguard and Battlefield 5 stuff. So, just some basic Genshin, I forget what it's called, Spiral Abyss. So hopefully you can enjoy that. My teams are a lot better than they were back then. I buffed them up, but anyways, once again, getting off track. But the Apex lore drought created an issue for this channel, but also me. Lore is a very important part of me, and well, when we started getting a lack of lore, I slowly began to grow away from Apex. It's not to say that I don't enjoy the game. I still play it thoroughly and quite a lot, despite the server crashing, bug issues, and semi-weapon balancing like Rampage, Prowler, L-Star, whatnot. That has been a struggle throughout the season. Some have been nerfed, some haven't, and whatnot. But anyways, I still had an issue, but I still love the game, if that makes sense. Like, there was a problem, but I still enjoyed the game. I just want to make that clear. I don't hate the game now. But my interest in the game declined dramatically. The lore severely, well, let's just say it was partially an immersion thing for me. It's an ongoing story that I was deeply captivated by. So when Respawn put a pause in the game comics, community comics, etc., and went radio silent about the lore for a decent amount of time, I sort of lost a part of me that was drawn into the game. The lack of lore and communication partially upsetted me, and it let it bother me in almost the entire first half of the season. It wasn't until at some point later through the first half of the season that Ashley told one of my friends, replied to my friend in a tweet about that the game was actually going to have lore. It's just the first half of the season was kind of lackluster, and the second half would be where most of the lore was. So there will be lore coming to the game soon, according to Ashley. Hopefully. So that began to pull me back into the game. That wasn't until very recently, of course, because, well, the first split ends tomorrow, as of me overlaying my voice here, and Kings Canyon starts, which technically is the halfway point of the season. So I was pushed away from Apex during that time. In the meantime, I was drawn to other games, Battlefield 5, getting hyped up for Battlefield 2042. I started playing Genshin by recommendation of one of my friends. Ghost of Tsushima, which I had some footage there in my last video. Doom, I've always been playing Doom Eternal. I've been playing it for quite a bit. I've been playing Demon Souls, stuff like that. And I began to explore other games and to fall in place with them, right? Eventually, like Apex, I began to gravitate towards each game's respective lore, or at least some of the game's lore. Some of the clips you'll see in this video, like Genshin, Battlefield, Vanguard, or in my last video, Ghost of Tsushima, Vanguard, and whatnot, are just a few examples of the games I've been enjoying recently. I still play Apex avidly, trust me. I think I'm encroaching 12,000 kills on Wraith now. I still play the game quite a bit. It's just, I realized things during my break from YouTube and my decline of interest from Apex at the first half of this season. And I realized that Apex won't be around forever. It won't be. This is something that I've always known, but this is something that has kind of evolved my thinking more that I thought about it. My channel in the last year has been heavily evolved around Apex, which it doesn't really leave a lot of room for variety. I have very little variety in my channel at the moment. Now my channel has expanded marginally since I've made the Apex content, meaning like my viewer base has increased substantially ever since I started doing the Apex content. I mean, I think my top 4 videos are Apex videos. So, like, that's great, you know? My channel has been marginally based on Apex content, and that in itself presents an issue. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you guys are a problem. I love you guys. But my channel was always a channel of variety. I posted a range of games. The amount of people that watched my channel was significantly smaller than now, but They weren't here only for one game. Well, most likely. If they were, then at least people from different gaming communities were drawn into my channel and watched those videos even when I stopped posting from a different game. For example, a long time ago, I uploaded... this is going to suck to admit. I uploaded Fortnite content. I still have it on my channel. I enjoyed the game at the time. Now, obviously, I fucking hate it now because the changes they made. But I also uploaded games like Siege, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Dead by Daylight, Warzone, etc. So eventually, when I quit playing Fortnite, there was still people from the other games' audiences that watched my video. There was a range of games, and there was a range of audience, right? This may not be the case now, with my channel being centered around Apex. I love you guys and gals, and appreciate every single one of you here. But I realize that my channel has gained a strict Apex following, or at least the trending fan base or the following base that I have has been from Apex content and are probably here exclusively for Apex content. These people are here for Apex content and usually not much else. Now, if you guys do support my videos, that's fucking awesome. I mean, any decision you make with my channel is fine. You know, if you don't want to watch a video, if you do want to watch a video, that's completely your choice. I'm not going to hold you to that or judge you in anything. I'm not going to hold any ill regard. This may not be the case now. Well, it is. It really is the case. It may not be the case now with my channel being centered around Apex, but I feel that it is. And I'll elaborate on that. So one day, I'll leave Apex, or the game will die. And the question is, what happens then? I know there will probably be a decent portion of my viewers that wouldn't watch anymore if I change games because of my increased Apex concentration, and that's okay if people are uninterested. But it's also important to note that change is inevitable, right? Change is going to happen. My channel is going to change, right? It's not always going to be Apex. The biggest examples I can provide here is Fortnite streamers, YouTubers, or Siege. A lot of them struggled immensely once Fortnite began to fall or die, especially in viewership. Streamers, content creators, YouTubers, their viewership either sank with the content creator when the content creator switched games, or their viewership harassed/annoyed the creator into playing a game that they no longer enjoyed, which just is the setup for a very bad relationship between the two communities. And this is also applicable to a game that is very currently in turmoil, and one that I at one point played a lot that I've recently stopped playing, and that would be Rainbow Six Siege. The game is in a very controversial state of boredom. Now, I'm not saying that because of the new operator they added, but I'm saying that because the game has many marginal issues, such as bugs and balancing, that has been there for years. The game is about 6 years old. There's plenty of things in the game that hasn't changed that have been in that game that's frustrating for years and has led to this point. But it's also a large contributing factor that the lack of content and cheaters have also propelled frustration with the game. After given enough time, 5-6 years time, people began to enjoy the game less and less, while enjoying other games more and more. This by I mean not only us as the player base, but also as in the content creators. Example like FaZe Yummy, or even Meaty Marley. FaZe Yummy, I actually watch his streams. He plays Apex a lot now, rather than playing Siege. He still plays Siege, but nowhere near as often. Or Anthony Pitt, the guy that kind of disappears off YouTube every 4 months. He talked about how he just hasn't been enjoying the game as much anymore. It's just something that happens, right? But these content creators from Siege struggle with their fan base and overall enjoyment. They struggle with the balance. The creators no longer wanted to play the game, or no longer wanted to play Siege as much, but Siege was also the only thing that some, I'm not saying all, but some of the audience desired. It can lead to a stagnation in viewership, or even worse, a toxic relationship between viewers and creators, right? Viewers being toxic towards the creator for not releasing Siege content, or if Siege content creator gets annoyed enough, they end up being toxic to their viewership, which is more of a rare instance, but it still is possible. I'm not saying that this is always the case, but it does happen enough to raise my concern. Now, I want to state that you probably are making a connection to what I'm saying here. My channel is by no means large, but I still can't help but fear the same issue. While it's not the time for me to leave Apex yet, I'm not leaving Apex, not at the moment, not for a good while, assuming that they're able to keep providing me content. But it will happen eventually, and by then, will I have a larger following? Will I face the same result? Because With the trend that my channel was on during the time that I was uploading Apex consistently, my channel was gaining a pretty decent amount of traction compared to what it was in the past couple years. And what's to say that that doesn't become exponential? A lot of those curves tend to be exponential. So what says that that won't happen to me at the same time? What if my channel blows up? And if it does, that's cool. If it doesn't, that's also cool. But, you know, I don't want to have a massive following and then Apex die and have nowhere to go. All those people that are depending on me. That's something I'd rather avoid. So I came to a certain kind of conclusion, and that conclusion is that I must expand my channel once more. I must create more variety, but still to captivate my old viewership. So I should still attempt to appease the people that are here for the Apex lore, but I should also continue to expand my horizons to gather people from other communities to be more accepting when I change. Or if you're still in the Apex community and willing to accept my channel's videos afterwards, that's great. But I don't want to build my channel entirely off of one game, and then when that game goes away, struggle dealing with my viewership and my own well-being. That is the biggest point here. And that's assuming that my channel gets a lot bigger, even now, really. I will still upload Apex content for as long as I play it, and I will do my best to analyze lore that intrigues me, so long as Apex provides it. Now, the reason why I actually added in the script the intrigues me is because not all the lore in Apex intrigues me. I'll give you an example. Seer. I do not like Seer's lore. I think he's boring. I think he's a lame character. They need to add more to him for me to be interested, but at the moment, he's not very interesting to me. Okay, that's just one example. However, I do find characters that are super intriguing, like Bloodhound, or Mirage, or Loba, you know what I mean, or Revenant, right? But it's just, you know, I'll analyze lore on some things that interest me, or some things that don't. Now, keep in mind that some videos will be analysis, some videos will be theory, some of them will just be interpretation, right? Or just reviewing. It all depends, it ranges and varies based on how I feel about the lore, whether I feel confident enough to make a prediction, or if I just simply want to analyze and give my input on what I think the lore means. But at the same time, while I'm still providing Apex lore and Apex gameplay, I will probably also begin to upload various content from other games. Now, this is where we're getting into a road far, far, far ahead of me. I'm not quite sure what it will be, what games it'll be, what type of content, since I don't know the future. I don't know how commonly I'll upload, or how I'll allocate the uploads. Alright, I don't know how many Apex videos will be out as opposed to other game videos. But I think that there will be gameplay, there will be lore, there will be rants, there will be playthroughs, reviews, tips and tricks, or even comedy, potentially. I mean, tips and tricks are a little bit on the rough side, but I might do just a tiny bit of those. Probably not so much, because those feel super clickbaity. So there's just some small examples. Some of these will happen more commonly than others. So like lore and gameplay will probably be way more common than tips and tricks. Or playthroughs might be more common than comedy or rants. Or comedy will be more common than reviews, right? Or you know, however it goes. We'll have to wait and see. I've wanted to do comedic videos for a very long time, and some of my stuff is comedic. In my last video, some of the content clips in there, I tried to go for a very comedic vibe, and I spent a very long time editing it, and I liked the way it turned out. I thought it was good. But I really want to put more comedy in my channel. One of those best examples is some of my funniest videos, personally, are actually from Warzone. Even though I didn't play the game much or enjoy it much at all, I really like the comedic atmosphere that was created in the Warzone videos I published, or uploaded, I should say, not published. And I really want to bring something like that aboard my channel. Not so much Warzone itself, because I don't enjoy Warzone. But I want to kind of bring that kind of comedy back. I want to find a game that brings me to that, or, you know, people with me that kind of bring that vibe around. And I think that has a lot of potential for my channel, but at the same time, maybe it doesn't, right? Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I do want to bring comedy. It just depends, because comedy is something that doesn't come naturally, at least not to me. And it's kind of like one of those things where, like, it just kind of has to happen naturally. I can't script comedy. I'm not going to. But, you know, comedy is something that's got to happen naturally, and, well, sometimes naturally takes time. As opposed to lore videos, I can just focus on gameplay, you know, play the game a bunch, get some gameplay, which can be used for actually gameplay videos, and then, or even be used as background footage, is right here. and then, I can type a script for lore, read up the lore, analyze it, view other people's interpretations sometimes. Like, I know sometimes in my very, very early videos, I use Kev King's interpretations, because me and Kev, which I'm not going to speak for him, but we have very similar viewpoints in the Apex lore. So I tend to kind of see, like, okay, where does he stand on this? Where does this guy stand on this? Where does, what I mean, just kind of ranging variety. Or sometimes I'll go in blind and simply do my own interpretation, which a lot of my theories are my own interpretations. I don't take influence from a majority of other people. Just because I don't want to feel like I'm stealing from their content. If I do reviews, it'll probably be on, I guess, like, one of the best things that I could give an example of is, like, things I don't like or things I do like. So, like, Call of Duty Vanguard, a review on Vanguard. However, I'm not going to do a review because it's only a beta and whatnot, and I'm not going to buy the full game, so I'm not going to do a review on it. But I might do a review on Battlefield 2042. I might do a review on Apex. I might do a review on Genshin. Just a wide variety of those things. By the way, I'm kind of going off script. If I'm doing tips and tricks, it's only going to be games I play a lot. So it'd be like Apex Ranked or, aim training or something like that, or maybe how I do Spiral Abyss in Genshin, or how I beat Doom on Nightmare, or Ultra Nightmare, sorry. How I beat Doom on Ultra Nightmare or whatnot, like just kind of ranging varieties. These are just examples. Like Doom would be slightly outdated at this point because there's plenty of tutorials and whatnot on it. So you're not going to be coming to my channel, or people probably aren't going to be coming to my channel looking for that type of content. There's going to be rants. So one of the biggest things that I really wanted to get into was controller versus keyboard, because that's very, very popular right now. I don't want to get on it just because it's trendy, but because it's also something I take very personally. As someone that's been playing on a controller ever since the Xbox 360 has came out, actually since the PlayStation 2, I played the PlayStation 2. It was the first console I played on, outside, I think, of the Nintendo DS, the original. I'm not really sure. My mind's real fuzzy around there because I was pretty damn young. So I've been playing on controller ever since that time. Since, let's see, I'm 18 now, turning 19 November 21st, which is 2 days after Battlefield 2042's release. So 2002, right? So 2002 is when I was born, but shortly after that, when I was like 6 or 7 or 8 or somewhere around there, that's when I first started playing games, and I was playing on a controller. I played on controller for my entire life, okay? So let's say 10, 12 years. I've been playing on a controller from 10 to 12 years of my lifespan, and I haven't played keyboard once up until I started playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I want to say 3/4 of the way through Modern Warfare's lifespan, I picked up a keyboard and started using it. And it was rough to get used to at first, I'll be honest, because I've never used one before outside of actually typing. I'm getting off topic, but my point is that I was going to talk about my experiences as a very, very experienced controller player, and as someone that had just recently picked up keyboard and personally like keyboard much more. If I have the option to go to a keyboard, I will not play a controller. I will refuse to play a controller if I can play a keyboard, because I like keyboard significantly more than controller, and that's coming from someone that's played controller for 10 to 12 years, and I've played keyboard for less than a year maybe, because when I played Modern Warfare on a keyboard, I didn't just continue playing keyboard, because I didn't play Cold War. I didn't touch that game. I hardly played that game. So it was kind of like a couple months on Modern Warfare on a keyboard, and then the entirety or majority of Cold War off, and then I played the Vanguard beta for a little bit on keyboard, as you see in some of those clips. So I don't have a lot of time on me, but for a mouse and keyboard, but I do definitely like it more, right? And I was going to give my opinions on that, and maybe that is something I do. But then again, it is a pretty heated thing, and I'm not going to look for people to get mad at me for my opinions and my views. Personally, I think controller is just inferior to mouse and keyboard in majority of ways. But once again, I just need to get to the point. I'm off topic, but those would be like rants. That would be like a rant, right? Or the Apex Overtime review. I say it's a review because I'm reviewing the comic, but it's also a review and a rant. I'm reviewing the comic and assessing what's in it, but I'm also ranting about Keith Champagne, the artist. I think he was the artist or the inker for that, and what he did wrong, and his feedback, and what he, how he handled everything was negative. That was more of a rant, right?
Okay,
So those are the
the
kind of pieces of like evidence or examples I can give you guys for those types of videos when you're going to be seeing it. And there could be more than just those types of videos. I could roll out a completely different video, like I could do a podcast, which I'm not going to. There's nothing about my life interesting enough to actually do a podcast. Or maybe even art videos. I've been wanting to do art for a long time. Obviously, I don't have an overhead camera to be able to bring the content to the YouTubes, or capture the content well. That is the one issue I have.
I do not want to
but just out there. And in terms of comedy, once again, comedy is very, very wide. It is probably the most wide and open thing of a category that I could bring to my channel, because there's a lot of things that constitutes comedy: edgy comedy, dark comedy, crude comedy, crude humor, through just a game, or through speaking, or playing a game and making jokes, or role playing, or whatever it is, which I doubt I'll do role playing. It's just a little out of my league. Stuff like that would be comedy, or even just funny clips that happen in game, stuff like that. That's all potential that they could come to my channel. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think that's about everything I have to say for now. Like I said, I'm gonna have one video. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or the day after. It might take some time, but I'm gonna start working on a lore video, start scripting it, edit it, and stuff like that. I got some Apex footage that I want to trim down and use in my videos. And then there might be a little pause in between videos, because I need to figure out what am I gonna do, right? There's a lot of Apex lore coming up in the game. Some stuff I have theories for, but there's not enough evidence to go off of to actually make a video. Or, redundancy is another thing. So I'll probably just loosely scrape those in my lore video that I'll have out next. But we'll see. It all depends on a couple of things. It depends on how much content is Respawn going to bring us for Apex, what is the lore they're bringing us, and how are they going to do it, to what intensity, and how often. You know what I mean? Because if they're not going to provide that much lore, or if they're not going to provide anything that's significant, I can't really make a video on it. One of the things that I thoroughly enjoyed was the Mirage lore, or Rampart, or even Octane. There was a lot of stuff that was kind of interpret, as opposed to the Seer lore that we have. Seer's lore is very, very straightforward. A lot of it is about him, his mother, his father, and how they cared for him, and how he was lonely, and the Moth's curse, and whatnot. It's very straightforward. There's not a whole lot of interpreting to be doing, other than the impact the Seer might have on the other legends. And if we get more lore like that, it's going to be harder for me to bring out videos about those characters, because it's very straightforward lore. And because it's straightforward, it feels like there's no need for an analysis or an interpretation or a theory, because a majority, if not all the people, can see it, right? So there's no point in me making a video or talking about something that everyone's aware of, without, actually providing valuable input. So that's going to play a massive role in how often the lore videos come out. And I'm going to need some time to figure out, okay, what kind of other videos am I going to bring to the channel? Am I just going to bring in random Ghost of Tsushima gameplay? You know what I mean? Or am I going to do, Fox Shrine locations? Or am I going to do, Doom Eternal collectibles? Or, just those are just examples. Once again, those games are fairly outdated in terms of, walkthroughs and whatnot. Or Genshin Spiral Abyss. Genshin Spiral Abyss gets updated quite a bit, so maybe I just show how I play it. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be the peak performance person. You're not going to want to come to me to figure out Spiral Abyss, but you could see my character loadouts and what I do for Spiral Abyss, and see how I perform, and see how I play it. Obviously, as you could probably see in this content, some of my characters are not up to balance. My first team I have there, Sayu, Yoimiya, Bennett, and Bao is a pretty strong team, and I have them a lot stronger now than they were at this point. I upgraded artifacts. On the second team, I have Ayaka and Barbara, which are very crucial to each other, but I also have Beidou and Ningguang. Beidou and Ningguang aren't very leveled up in terms of talents and artifacts and whatnot. I need to get them better stuff, and Beidou needs a better sword. And I could use better characters, but I'm not a whale. I'm free to play, and I have to pick and choose what I have, and go off of that. So I'm hoping this gets better with Ganyu. I'm saving up for Ganyu. But I could probably do some stuff like this and show how I play it. And since I'm free to play, if you're free to play, you can kind of take some insight from it. Or, if you're just interested to see how I do Spiral Abyss, you can see here. You're like, oh, there you go. This is how he does it. Cool. Maybe it won't just be Spiral Abyss. Maybe it'll be region chest collecting, or boss battles, or even just lore analysis. I might do some lore analysis on Genshin, though probably not, because I can feel that a lot of people probably don't care about that. I reckon that I don't see why they would. Some people are very drawn in by the game. Some people aren't. It's a very don't like, do like game. Either people like it or they don't. So we'll see how that goes. This Azdaha fight is very outdated. My character's Ayaka's level 90, and I think she's max talents, as opposed to now. I think in that clip she was like level 70 or level 80. Sorry. So maybe I show some boss fight stuff, or maybe I don't show any Genshin footage. Maybe I don't bring Genshin to my channel. Maybe it's just strictly a background footage thing. Who knows? It depends. Demon Souls is something I thought about bringing to my channel. Maybe some Rage, because it's inevitable that I'm going to Rage in that game. I probably won't do a whole playthrough. I'll probably just do like highlights or Rage moments or just boss fights or something like that. See what happens. I do thoroughly enjoy the game, and with Elden Ring on the horizon, that's very possible I could do that. Battlefield 2042 is going to be a game I'm largely banking off of as well. It's going to be a game that hopefully I have a lot of hope for. I hope it's going to be a good game. I have a feeling it will be. I mean, maybe it isn't. Maybe it is. I don't know. Only time can tell. So that is a game that will probably be predominantly uploaded on my channel along with Apex if it is good. Once again, I'm pretty confident it will be, but maybe it won't be. Right? I'll still have Apex lore and all that, but I'll probably have some Battlefield footage. And by no means am I Jack Frags. I'll never be Jack Frags, but I could still produce Battlefield content that maybe you guys will enjoy. Maybe it's just me popping off, or maybe it's just talking about my day or current events. Maybe I talk about current events as I'm playing Battlefield, or talk about other games and what I think, or maybe I do my controller rant or whatnot while I'm talking and playing over Battlefield. You never know. I don't know. There's a lot of games coming out. I mean, my brother plays Xbox, and he's got Gears of War and Halo and whatnot, and I thoroughly enjoy Gears of War. So maybe I try to bring that to my channel somehow. And I'll reckon that would be a lot more difficult to bring to the channel, considering that the game DVR system for Xbox is a lot worse, significantly worse than PlayStation's. Sorry, Xbox. Longtime Xbox supporter, but I'm on PlayStation now. So maybe that's something I do, or hell, I might even get a PC at some point, reckon that I'm actually able to eventually somehow get a car to get a job, or get a job to get a car, etc., Catch-22, whatnot, if I manage to break that cycle. Maybe I get a PC and play some, Escape from Tarkov. I would love to play Escape from Tarkov, or even Valorant, really. In terms of new games, playthroughs will probably be pretty rare. Just because I can't buy every game on the market. I don't have the money. I can't do a Deathloop playthrough. I can't do every game playthrough, right? I can't. That's just not my channel. I don't have the money for it. That's something that someone like Radbrad does. Radbrad does a lot of gameplay playthroughs and whatnot. That is the main center of his channel, right? So it makes logical sense for him to buy those games, as opposed to me, not so much. One, I don't even have the money, and two, it just wouldn't make sense from my standpoint anyhow, unless I'm actually thoroughly 100% sure I'm going to like the game and enjoy it. Because even if I buy the game and decide to do a playthrough, there's no telling that I'll actually like it. As opposed to how much I like Ghost of Tsushima and Doom Eternal and Borderlands 2. I won't mention 3 because 3 is a disgrace. So, I don't know. Guys, I really don't. But we'll see what the future beholds for this channel and where I go and how often I upload and whatnot. I really do want to bring drawing to my channel somehow. It's going to be very difficult. The other thing I want to do is I want to try including background music a little bit more in some of these videos. I would love to have music happening in the background of this video as I'm talking, just some light, lo-fi. But the issue is that it has to be copyright free. I don't want to, run into any issues where anyone, strikes my channel or anything like that. Now, I reckon it's not monetized, but still, I don't want to run into any issues there. So I do have the PlayStation playlist. PlayStation does have some music on here that I could copyright free, put in the background, and turn down low. But at the end of the day, not all of it's what I'm looking for, or it's not going to be long enough. So we'll see where that goes. I think that's all I got for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. It should be a lore video, and until then, take care. I love you guys.